15 years ago today, on June 25th, 2009, at exactly 2:26 p.m., one of the most famous human beings on Earth was officially pronounced dead. His name was Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, a man whose music changed the entertainment industry forever, whose dance moves became legendary, and whose fame was so massive that people literally fainted just by looking at him. But Michael Jackson's death was never seen as just another celebrity tragedy, because even after all these years, millions of people still believe Michael Jackson did not die accidentally. They believe something much darker happened behind closed doors, inside his Los Angeles mansion. A powerful anesthetic, a panicked doctor, hidden medical evidence, a delayed 911 call, and a global superstar found lifeless inside his bedroom. So what really happened during Michael Jackson's final 24 hours? In 2009, Michael Jackson was preparing for the biggest comeback of his entire career. The concert series was called This Is It, with 50 shows scheduled at London's O2 Arena. Tickets sold out almost instantly. For years, Michael had avoided major live performances after endless scandals and controversies damaged his reputation. But now he wanted to prove something to the world. He wanted to remind everyone why he was called the King of Pop. According to people close to him, Michael was excited, nervous, but excited, especially because his children would finally watch him perform live for the very first time. At the time, Michael was living in a rented mansion at 100 North Carrollwood Drive in Los Angeles, a massive luxury estate hidden behind gates and surrounded by security. Inside that house, Michael was rehearsing constantly, pushing his body, training for hours, trying to prepare for what many believed would be the greatest comeback tour in music history. But behind the scenes, Michael was exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically, and most importantly, he could not sleep. For years, Michael Jackson suffered from severe insomnia. Not ordinary insomnia, extreme insomnia. There were nights when Michael reportedly slept only a few hours across several days. This wasn't just because of stress. Michael had spent decades under constant pressure. The fame, the lawsuits, the media attacks, the performances, the accusations, the painkiller addiction, the surgeries. Everything slowly destroyed his ability to rest naturally. People close to him said Michael became terrified of not being able to perform perfectly. He constantly worried his body would fail him on stage, and that fear became so intense that eventually he became dependent on sedatives, especially one drug, Propofol. Now this is important. Propofol is not a normal sleeping medication. It's a powerful anesthetic usually used during surgeries in hospitals. Doctors use it to completely sedate patients before operations. It works extremely fast, and if something goes wrong, it can stop breathing within minutes. That's why Propofol is normally administered only with oxygen systems, heart monitors, emergency equipment, and trained medical staff nearby. But Michael Jackson had started using it almost every single night just to sleep. He even gave the drug a nickname, Milk, because of its white color, and the man responsible for giving him that drug was Dr. Conrad Murray. Conrad Murray was Michael Jackson's personal physician during the This Is It tour. He had specifically been hired because Michael trusted him. Murray's job was simple: keep Michael healthy enough to perform. But according to prosecutors later, what Murray was doing behind closed doors was dangerously irresponsible. Every night, Michael allegedly requested stronger medications to help him sleep, and Murray kept giving them to him. Inside Michael's mansion was a private medication room built beside his bedroom. That room contained oxygen tanks, IV equipment, sedatives, syringes, and multiple prescription drugs. But one thing was missing: critical hospital monitoring equipment. No proper anesthesia setup, no advanced emergency system, nothing that should have been mandatory for administering a drug as dangerous as Propofol. And yet it continued night after night until June 25, 2009, the final night. On June 24, 2009, Michael spent the evening rehearsing at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Videos from that rehearsal still exist today, and honestly, Michael looked energized, focused, sharp. He danced, he sang, he practiced routines for hours. Many fans later pointed to those rehearsal videos and said, "There's no way Michael looked like someone about to die." After rehearsal ended around midnight, Michael returned home to North Carrollwood Drive. He arrived at approximately 12:30 a.m. According to staff members, Michael went downstairs, sat at the dining table, and ate dinner prepared by his personal chef, Kai Chase. After eating, he went upstairs to sleep, but once again sleep wouldn't come. Around 1 a.m., Dr. Conrad Murray entered Michael's room. Over the next several hours, Murray administered multiple sedatives, first diazepam, then lorazepam, then midazolam, but still Michael remained awake. Hours passed. Michael reportedly begged for sleep. He told Murray he desperately needed rest before rehearsals, but nothing worked. Then came the request that changed everything. Michael asked for milk, Propofol. According to Murray, he initially refused. He claimed he tried to avoid giving Michael the drug, but eventually, after repeated requests, he gave in. At around 10:40 a.m., Murray administered 25 milligrams of Propofol mixed with lidocaine. Finally, Michael fell asleep, or at least that's what Murray believed. Shortly afterward, Murray left the bedside, and when he returned, Michael was unresponsive. Weak pulse, barely breathing, eyes open, no reaction. Panic immediately took over. According to investigators, Murray did not immediately call 911. Instead, he attempted CPR himself, and this became one of the most controversial parts of the entire case. Medical experts later testified that Murray performed CPR incorrectly. Instead of moving Michael onto a hard surface immediately, he allegedly began chest compressions while Michael was still on the bed. Meanwhile, valuable minutes were passing. Then Murray injected another drug called flumazenil, designed to reverse sedative overdoses, but still no response. At some point, Murray ran downstairs screaming for help. Michael's staff rushed upstairs. His 12-year-old son, Prince, was brought into the room. Imagine that moment, a child walking into a room and seeing his father, the most famous entertainer on earth, lying motionless on a bed. Security guard Alberto Alvarez later testified that when he entered the room, Michael's eyes were open and his body looked lifeless. Then came another shocking allegation. According to testimony, Murray instructed Alvarez to place medical items into bags before paramedics arrived. Later, investigators would discover hidden medications inside the room. Why hide evidence if this was simply an accident? That question still fuels conspiracy theories today. At 12:21 p.m., someone finally called 911. The recording is chilling. The dispatcher can be heard desperately instructing staff members to move Michael onto the floor and continue CPR. By this point, paramedics were already racing toward the mansion. When they arrived, they found chaos. Michael was unresponsive, no proper pulse, no meaningful breathing. Paramedics immediately began advanced life-saving procedures and rushed Michael to Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. Doctors worked aggressively to revive him, but nothing worked. At 2:26 p.m., Michael Jackson was officially pronounced dead. The world exploded. News channels interrupted programming worldwide. Fans collapsed outside hospitals. Crowds gathered in Los Angeles within hours. Social media crashed under the weight of reactions because this wasn't just a celebrity death. This was Michael Jackson, the biggest pop star in modern history. For millions of people, it felt impossible, and almost immediately questions began appearing. How could a world-famous celebrity die from surgical anesthesia inside his bedroom? Why wasn't proper medical equipment there? Why did Conrad Murray wait before calling 911? And why were medications allegedly hidden? Something didn't feel right. To truly understand Michael's final years, you have to understand his childhood. Michael Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana. He grew up in a strict working-class household with 8 siblings. His father, Joseph Jackson, pushed the children aggressively into entertainment. The Jackson 5 became hugely successful, but behind the success, there was fear. Michael later admitted that his father physically and emotionally abused him. He described being terrified of Joseph even as an adult, and many psychologists believe Michael spent the rest of his life trying to recover the childhood he never had. That's one reason he created Neverland Ranch, a giant fantasy property filled with amusement rides, animals, and attractions for children. Michael loved being around kids because many believed he mentally connected more easily with childhood innocence than adult relationships, but unfortunately that also became the source of endless controversy. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Michael Jackson faced multiple child abuse allegations. The media coverage was brutal. His image was destroyed publicly, but despite years of investigations, courtroom battles, and accusations, Michael was never convicted of child molestation. Still, the damage to his reputation was massive. Michael became isolated, paranoid, emotionally unstable. Many people close to him said he stopped trusting almost everyone, and by 2009, the pressure surrounding the comeback tour was overwhelming. Michael needed the tour financially, emotionally, and according to many insiders, he was terrified of
In the
failing.
1990s and early 2000s, Michael Jackson faced multiple child abuse allegations. The media coverage was brutal. His image was destroyed publicly. But despite years of investigations, courtroom battles, and accusations, Michael was never convicted of child molestation. Still, the damage to his reputation was massive. Michael became isolated, paranoid, emotionally unstable. Many people close to him said he stopped trusting almost everyone. And by 2009, the pressure surrounding the comeback tour was overwhelming. Michael needed the tour financially, emotionally, and according to many insiders, he was terrified of failing. After Michael's death, conspiracy theories exploded worldwide. Some people blamed Conrad Murray alone. Others believed powerful executives wanted Michael dead because of financial disputes involving music rights and contracts. Some pointed toward Sony. Others believed Michael knew too much about the darker side of the entertainment industry. Even Kanye West publicly suggested there may have been a conspiracy behind Michael's death. To this day, fans continue analyzing every detail, every interview, every phone call, every witness statement, searching for answers. In 2011, Dr. Conrad Murray stood trial for involuntary manslaughter. Prosecutors argued that Murray acted with extreme negligence by administering Propofol outside a hospital environment. Medical experts testified that basic safety procedures were ignored. No proper monitoring, no emergency backup, improper CPR, delayed emergency response. The jury found Murray guilty, and he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. But even after the conviction, many people still felt justice was incomplete because Conrad Murray may have administered the drugs. But Michael Jackson's decline had started years earlier. Years of pressure, pain, addiction, fame, loneliness, and emotional trauma. Michael Jackson spent his entire life entertaining the world. He gave people unforgettable music, legendary performances, and moments that became part of pop culture history forever. But behind the fame was a man struggling with pain most people never saw. And on June 25, 2009, that pain finally consumed him. Officially, Michael Jackson died from acute Propofol intoxication. But for millions of fans around the world, the story still feels unfinished. Because somewhere between the drugs, the secrets, the pressure, and the panic, the king of pop disappeared forever. And maybe the most disturbing part of all is that the truth of what really happened inside that bedroom may never be fully known.